Lightning Dust, Trixie Lulamoon, A True Love by Switched Up. Ever since Starlight and Trixie became very best friends. Since Starlight had moved to Ponyville and actually been together with Sunburst for about a few months, Trixie felt a bit outside when Sunburst often came to Ponyville to spend some time with Starlight. Starlight would even spend some time with Trixie, but but all that also changed after the Starlight told Trixie that she is going to be a mother soon. That made Trixie even more outside. But she realized she would never lose her best friend, but at the same time she was feeling more outside than before Sunburst even came into their lives together. Even Trixie had some feelings for Starlight at first, but she realized Starlight would never have the same feelings back since she started dating Sunburst. So, but she admitted her true feelings for Starlight. But Starlight said that she only liked her as a friend, but she always be there for her no matter what happens. At first, Trixie thought that she would never be a friend anymore, that she was more against kind of that things, but she was more actually open, accepting it. So Trixie thought maybe Starlight not be the right pony for her. Starlight had told Trixie that she will find her special sound pony someday, just when she at least expected. Trixie thought about that, and she wondered when would she find her true love? When? How? Exactly when and where? All those questions around her was still spinning around her head almost every day. She thought maybe there could be some pony she knows, or some pony that she even hadn't met yet. She always looked around where she hoped to find. Could it be that pony? Could it be that pony? But so far, nothing. She almost given up hope to find her special sun pony until one day when she was about with Starlight. They were actually looking and walking around town, just talking, and they saw this flyer from a pony up from in the sky. It was delivered about this an aerobatic show outside Ponyville within the next 2 days. And Starlight noticed one name on it: Lightning Dust. She hasn't even met Lightning Dust herself, but although she had heard about from Rainbow, Fluttershy, and Twilight about Lightning Dust, she thought, how could she still be in aerobatic after she did? And Trixie had never heard or even met her herself. So Trixie asked Starlight what she knows about Lightning Dust and why so many ponies are against her suddenly. Trixie was told by Starlight that at least 2 years ago, Lightning Dust was actually part of the Wonderbolt reserves and wanted to be a Wonderbolt. She had beaten many of the Academy records in speed and everything. But that sounds very great. Yeah, said Starlight, until she did something that most of the ponies there, including Spitfire, thought was too reckless. And what could that be? Asked Trixie. Starlight then explained that Lightning Dust used a tornado to clear the sky from clouds. But that seems a very fast idea. Yes, it seems a very fast, good idea at the moment. But she used the idea and even to being very close to Twilight and her friends in the area. Trixie could never believe. Are you saying that she used the tornado even not considering other ponies' safety? That is exactly what I'm saying, but that is only what I was told about from Twilight and Rainbow. And especially Rainbow was very surprised that she was part of this. The washouts recently. The washouts, I heard about them, says Trixie. But I never went to saw their show, but I only heard about them. Apparently, it turns out Lightning Dust was the leader of the washouts, and she clearly tried to give Scootaloo part of their team. Wait, Scootaloo? Are you sure? Yes, I was there and saw the whole thing. That was something that Trixie never could believe. But what kind did she? What kind of tricks did she want to make Scootaloo to make? Starlight was quiet first. Then she explained every detail what happened. Trixie's from curious to horrified expression. How could she even be doing that? She thinks that Scootaloo is just a filly, and she can't even fly so well yet. And putting her in that, and especially on rocket on a scooter? What is she thinking about? I have no idea, said Starlight. Starlight and Trixie went to continue their walk through town and just talking about this upcoming show and so on. Starlight said that she had to go back to library to some research about some new spells she had learned about. So Trixie had nothing to do, and since she had no more magical shows for this week, so she decided to go back to Twilight's castle for some company. There she told Twilight, and she saw that Rainbow was even there. At first she thought, should she tell them about Lightning Dance, about this new aerobatic show? It seems that they haven't heard about it yet. So first she asked them about this washouts incident and the academy incident, if it was true. They even said the exact same thing as Starlight did to her. Then she brought up that about this aerobatic show, and even Rainbow thought, is there Wonderballs? No, she said, because since Rainbow is part of Wonderballs, she would have heard if the Wonderballs were put up a new show within 2 days. Then Trixie showed them this flyer, and both of them saw the name Lightning Dust. How could she still be in this dangerous business, especially after those 2 incidents recently? Said Starlight. It's Twilight. But Rainbow, she didn't say a word. But from what Trixie could see, she was very, very upset. Without saying a word, Rainbow just flew out and left the castle. Do you think she is angry? I would be, since Scootaloo is her kind of apprentice of how to learn about to be a Wonderbolt and how to fly. How could some pony like her to risk a Scootaloo's life without someone who even can barely fly? I don't know, said Trixie. I would never do that. I know that, Trixie, said Twilight. Well, if you excuse me, Twilight, Trixie, I need to do some research. For Starlight? No, for the school, actually. Oh, okay. Trixie then left the school, the castle, and went back to her home, to her wagon, to practice on some magic or something. But at some point there, she couldn't even get Lightning Dust off her mind. Not exactly for what she thinks that she's beautiful mare, but all the stories that she had been told about this particular mare. She couldn't even believe all the dangerous things that she had done to all other ponies without caring for their safety. She thought that how could some pony like her to do that kind of stunts without taking care of the risk to other ponies. 2 days later, Trixie decided to go to see this aerobatic show. She had asked Starlight, Twilight, and Rarity and other friends to go with her, but they all said no. Because most of them had actually, Rarity couldn't because she had this upcoming fashion show within only a day or so. So she was very busy, and Fluttershy she couldn't, she had to take care of Angel and some other animals. Rainbow was even in the town at the time. She was actually at the academy. She had to train for the other members. So the only that she could go with was actually Applejack and Applebloom. And they were told by Twilight that Lightning Dust is taking part of it. And even she was very upset about hearing that Wonderballs, that this former trainee from the Wonderballs is there. But she kept her calm down. Even if there had been Applebloom and instead for Screwloo, she would never forgive Lightning Dust to threaten her sister's life. Rainbow said to Applejack that she wanted to go so that she could have some other talk with Lightning Dust, but at the same time she couldn't even stand to see her. Lightning Dust could never be this, would never accept anybody's friendship or at least an excuse. She thought maybe that she's better to be a Wonderbolt rather than Rainbow because she feels about other opponent's safety, and at least what she do. At this show, Trixie and Applejack sat there, just watched the show with Applebloom, and they saw that it seems that Lightning Dust seems to be caring about the others in the team. There was 2 times where they almost close to crash in each other, but they managed to avoid it. And even Applebloom was very happy to see the show, but she even was very surprised that Scootaloo didn't want to go. Because she told about this show, and then she was happy to want to go. But when she's told that Lightning Dances want to be part of it, she said, no, I don't want to go. And Sweetabelle asked why. And Scootaloo then told them. So they understood. And even after the show itself, Applejack and Applebloom didn't want to talk to Lightning Dust afterwards, so they just left. They asked even Trixie if she was ready to go, but she said that she was going to talk to some of the opponents there. So they left. Trixie actually went up to Lightning Dust to talk to her of all the other opponents. She wanted to ask her about all this incident was even actually true or not made up. At first, Trixie thought that maybe she's going to lie or make some excuses, but in fact, Lightning Dust told her all that was actually true. She didn't deny anything. It seems that she had some remorse. When Trixie looked at her, she could actually see that Lightning Dust was actually feeling sorry about what she had done. Trixie could never even believe that. At first, she thought Lightning Dust could never feel any remorse of what he had done in the past. But Trixie felt somehow empathy. She felt that she could actually feel that she was honest. And Lightning Dust told her that she had heard all about her incidents in the past, including when she took over Ponyville with the help of the Alicorn Amulet. Trixie was very surprised that even she heard about that and was horrified even if she was going to scold her about the same thing. But she didn't. Of all the other things, she didn't get she didn't say any at all about it, except that she only heard about it, but nothing else. Trixie told Lightning Dust that she had been reformed, redeemed herself, and had apologized for every pony town what she had done, and they had also means forgive her, even if it took time for them. But then suddenly Lightning Dust then asked if Trixie wanted to maybe see her after the show tomorrow to do something. Trixie was not even prepared for that kind of question. But in fact, she said actually yes. So Trixie went back home to her wagon, and there, nothing happened. Except Trixie had fallen in love with Lightning Dust. At first, she wanted to tell her friends about it, but in fact, later on, she decided not to. Mostly because of all the stories she had been told about Lightning Dust. But at first, she thought, could Lightning be lying to her all along? So she decided not to tell her friends about it, not at least for a while, to see if Lightning Dust was actually genuine about her true apologizing. The next day after the show, Trixie and Lightning Dust actually went to this cafe in town to eat something. Unfortunately for that, Rainbow was in town and saw Lightning Dust with Trixie. Rainbow stared at Lightning, who stared back. Rainbow was staring at her with an actually very angry look, but he didn't say anything and just took off. Lightning Dust didn't felt any more remorse for what he did actually. Only about a few days after this encounter with Rainbow, she thought maybe she didn't should come back to Ponyville at all, that she maybe should leave. But Trixie had managed to let her to stay in town. But she asked why. She told her the reason why, which she explained to Lightning, was very surprised. She said no pony had never loved her that much. And Trixie said to Lightning that she would understand if she is not into mares as she is. But in fact, she was actually into mares, rather than to stallions. Only about 2 days after this talk, Trixie decided to tell her friends, and all they were actually gathered in the castle for some talk. Trixie went inside and then wanted to talk to them all about something important. They all then listened to her, that she said that she is in love with Lightning Dust and that they are together. All her friends just stared at her. They didn't say a word, except from Rainbow. How could you be so like with her? She threatened our lives with others but not thinking about it. Trixie said she had remorse from that. Ha! She would never give any remorse for thinking about that, said Rainbow. She always thinks about herself. She wants to be wonderful so she can kick me out so that she can replace me. But it was quiet first. Rainbow, we don't know that, said Twilight. But it could be true, said Rainbow. But we don't know that it's true, said Fluttershy. We should have given her a chance. After what she did at the academy and to Scootaloo, do you think she is worth to give her a chance? No, I would never give her a second chance. Never, said Rainbow. But Sugar Cube, she really needs to have been given a second chance, said Applejack. She had proven to at least Trixie that she seems to be worth it to give her a chance. I say no, she's not worth it, said Rainbow. Her friends they argued back and forward to give Lightning Dust a chance to prove it. Alright, I'm willing to give her a chance to prove it, but if she doesn't seem to be any remorse of all, I'm done. I will never be part of that anymore. If she doesn't prove and it reports she is banished from Ponyville. That can Twilight make sure of. And her friends looked at her. Is that true? Asked Trixie. No, I will never banish anyone. If you don't, I will leave Ponyville and never come back, said Rainbow. That is the only offer I say, and I leave now. And she flew away. Her friends was very surprised that of all the talk led to all this. I'm hoping for your sake that Lightning Dust is showing the right true thing here, said Rarity. I'm seeing the thing here, said Applejack. But she is honest, I can tell. Even Starlight can prove it. And they looked at her. Can you? Asked Twilight. Maybe, said Starlight. Only a few days after this discussion in the castle, and after Rainbow's outburst about Trixie to be with Lightning Dust, Trixie actually met up with Lightning Dust at that day, and she explained what happened, and that would not surprise me, said Lightning, especially with part of it, Rainbow. She didn't even like me, and I can't not blame her. But then suddenly, Starlight appeared. What's she doing here? She asked. Oh, um, then she explained everything what happened. Oh, so she's here to confirm if I'm lying or something? Exactly, said Trixie. Starlight at first asked her some questions just to see if she could tell. For some reason, Starlight could sense if some pony was actually telling truth or lied. She was like a living lie detector. And after that, Trixie Lightning Dust had answered all the questions. She asked Trixie to some from private moment. So Trixie asked, how did she answer? Starlight was so quiet at first. Surprisingly enough, all true. Trixie was actually never to expect that kind, so she thought that maybe she should have lied as something, but all true. Are you sure? Absolutely. I would never lie about that. So Trixie had actually felt more happier. But would that prove enough for Rainbow? She asked. I doubt that. She thinks that she will only send an argument that Lightning Dust must have trained to be so seems honest. But she thinks she will say that these lies, these truth honest answers must be some very trained lies to be seems to be true. But I believe they are true, said Trixie. And I know that. I have never been wrong in this ever. Starlight and Trixie told this to Twilight and others, and they took it as very much accepted by Star Rainbow. And before you say anything, Rainbow, we all consider this, said Twilight, that you made us think that this can be all true, and all the true answers could be well-trained lies that you act as truth. We all consider that. But Rainbow, she was about to speak, but was blown away by the answer. But how can we be 100% sure? Said Rainbow. Darling, she has been true to us, said Red. So Sugarcube, she has been really honest to us. She hasn't been lying anything. She has been helping me at the Sweet Apple Acres. And she helped me with the animals, said Fluttershy. But What if all this is just to try to make it to look true? Said Rainbow. Rainbow, you have to believe us. You have to embrace that she is telling you all the truth, said Twilight. But but still, if this was only all lies, said Rainbow, you have to give her a second chance. At least give it to her. She deserves it. Rainbow couldn't say a word. Fine, I will give her a second chance, but if she lies, I will never accept that. Alright then. From this moment, I will give her as a teacher part at the school. Everyone her friends were actually informed about this, but Rainbow was still not accepted that at first, but she had no other argument to do it. So the later day, Lightning Dust actually started as the training at exercise at the school as a teacher. At first, Rainbow was there to watch her to make sure that she doesn't even do anything dangerous related incident again. After watching her for the last 4 days of the same practice, she could notice that Lightning Dust actually made some alterations in the training program, but only that since the every creatures were not the same, like for Yona, who's a yak, and for Silverstream, who is a hippogriff. And Rainbow was still not proven wrong, but she would not give up hope to prove to her friends that Lightning Dust is bad character. But after nearly 2 months at the school, she gave up. It turns out every time that Lightning Dust could have done something bad, she didn't. Not even when Lightning Dust saw that Rainbow was even in the area anymore. She didn't do anything bad. In fact, all the students had actually given her very great grades, great comments, everything. So Rainbow had finally accepted Lightning Dust had been redeemed herself. But it took a little bit longer time for her to accept her as a friend. But eventually she did. Trixie was happy to see that all her friends had accepted her, even if it took a little bit longer time for Rainbow to even accept Lightning Dust as a friend, which she could understand after about Lightning Dust's past. But over time, Lightning Dust and Trixie's relationship only gets stronger for each day. Of course, they made heads of fights from time to time, but they always forgave it and worked it out. But for the most part, they always stayed together, even if Trixie left Ponyville to travel around for her magical shows in some of them had major cities or something. But for the most part, she never gave hope to settle down with Trixie one day. And in fact, shortly after that, Trixie one day came home from her travels from Saudi Arabia with Starlight after she had her baby. Lightning Dust had actually been performing a test how to perform a proposal to Trixie. And when she proposed to Trixie, she was beyond happiness. Trixie and Lightning Dust could never be more happy to be married, only about 4 months later. But only at that time, Lightning Dust had actually become a Wonderbolt reserve again. But she then declined the offer that she seems to liking to be a school teacher, since the school teaching has a very good payment for her, so she could actually bought her and Trixie a home together. And within the next only about 2 years after they'd been married, Trixie and Lightning Dust decided to start a family. So they actually asked Twilight for help. Trixie became pregnant with a son, and only about 2 years later they decided to adopt another child. Since Trixie had some complications that she couldn't even have another baby, but that didn't make them any hard for them. They decided to adopt at least 2 daughters from a local orphanage, and that made them both very happy to be parents. And that's how Lightning Dust, Trixie Lulamoon found a true love and got a big family. The end.